I mean, if you can get over yourself, or like honestly,
Have a
that's
little
what
fun
most
with
people
it.
having trouble, like just like putting themselves out there and getting embarrassed, which I know that's a real thing. I'm not discounting. That's not easy to do.
Welcome to Monday Mornings with Michelle, the new business podcast. Whether you're kicking off your day or kickstarting your business, Michelle is going to kick your ass into next week with the essential fours: strategy, systems, support, and state of mind. Now, welcome to center stage, Michelle Nedelec.
Hey there, peeps. This is Michelle Nedelec, and I'm super glad that you're here with us today because I am here with my most amazing guest, Meredith. Meredith, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Michelle, I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So give us a 5,000-foot view of who you are and what you love to do.
So my name's Meredith Kallaher. I am a small business owner and a wife and mother of 3 teenagers, which is, I feel like I deserve a medal for every day.
Exactly. We can just cold stop right there. You totally deserve a medal for that.
Come on. Yeah. I mean, they're darling, and then they're little beastie animals, like in the same day or same hour sometimes, but they're so cute. I have a 17-year-old boy and a 15 and 13-year-old daughters, and we live in Miami, Florida, which we've been here for 10 years. We moved for, looking back in my old age of 47, I realized I have been up for doing things kind of on a whim. My husband's from Memphis, Tennessee, and my parents are from Texas. We actually moved when I was 14 to Mississippi, which is how I ended up meeting my husband. But anyway, so we're like Texan and Southern, and my husband's company got bought, and it was either California or Florida. And he had gone to college in California, felt a little more comfortable just because of that. But I was like, well, which job's better? And he said Miami. So I said, let's go. And Miami is very different than Texas and the South. Yeah. And he had like a non-compete agreement, so we couldn't tell anybody or come visit. I had just been here for my bachelorette party. That was it. And like we stayed at a Holiday Inn on South Beach. And yeah, so I had no idea how international Miami is, which has been so cool for my kids, and how and how tropical. Like, it's actually a different climate than the rest of Florida. We're in the South, we're in a tropical climate. So it's literally summer 100% of the time. So anyway.
And it's gorgeous. I love it.
It's gorgeous. Yeah. So so that's me. But my business, sorry, I told you before, we're having a beautiful day here. So that's why I'm going on about Miami. But
everybody's going to want to move to Miami now.
Guys, it's awesome, especially January. You and I, well, no, I love Canada in the winter, but it's a great place for weather-wise for 3 months, January to March, and then it gets kind of hot and humid and buggy. But I own a marketing company. Meredith Kallaher LLC, and I primarily provide Facebook and Instagram strategy and management for small business owners. That's what I do. And I love Kajabi, and realized that about half my clients are online course creators, and Kajabi, and they also use Kajabi, or some of them do. And so I started also offering that service to, if somebody needed it to build a website or a lead page. And then I also love to write. And so I realized some people needed that. So I offer copywriting services sometimes too. But I have ADHD. And so it works for me to be able to do a few different things sometimes. But honestly, I love helping people build their ad strategy and implement it. So
nice. I personally am a huge fan of ADD and everything that goes with it, especially when you have a couple of like 180-degree interests in life. To me, it just creates a fascinating lifestyle, but we can talk about that another day. Let's dive into the Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. So let's just start on a real shallow level. Like, what is the difference between Facebook, Instagram? What is Instagram? And the difference between LinkedIn?
Okay, perfect. So Facebook and Instagram, first, they're owned by the same company, which is now called Meta. And really, for the ads purposes, the differences are not that important. And they're kind of changing. Now Instagram was a photo sharing app, and now the CEO came out and said maybe it's content, videos, and copy. But for ads purposes, they're actually run through the same tool, and it's called Facebook Business Manager. Business Manager, you have to set up a Business Manager account, which will lead you to an Ads Manager account. And within Facebook Business Manager and Ads Manager, you bring in your Facebook page and your Instagram account. And so what's cool is we run a campaign. Typically, we'll suggest you just select all placements. That's an option. And it will run in Facebook, Facebook Stories, Facebook Messenger, Facebook Marketplace. There's some games people play on Facebook that it'll show up in, and then as well as Instagram feed, Instagram Stories, Instagram Explorer. And unless you've created an ad that's specific maybe for stories, or now you can even run an ad in Reels. It's best, we just usually put them in both. And then the algorithm, the smart computer, a lot of times I have business owners, we think we know better. So we just know it's going to do well, like on Facebook or something. But I'm like, why don't we just let the computer see? And what they do is they start running the campaign, and then whatever's working, then they just feed it to that platform. But sometimes it's smart to just run like an Instagram story ad. And then LinkedIn, LinkedIn is a business to business, usually a business to business platform. So, the first thing is, if you are selling to business owners, LinkedIn could be a smart place to be. What's very cool about LinkedIn is the targeting capabilities, because we all put so much information into LinkedIn, like what our job title is, where we've worked before, and so all kinds of things, right? Like what college we went to. And so the targeting capabilities are pretty amazing. They're amazing on Facebook too. That's what makes it awesome. But the thing is, you pay for that on LinkedIn. So a rule of thumb is, this is a real, this doesn't hold true all the time, but a good rule of thumb is, if your offer is less than $5,000, which all of my clients are, then LinkedIn might be too expensive, the ads. And that actually comes from LinkedIn. Like that's what they, when you read through their like ads, how to, but if you do have a service that you're going to offer for $5,000, what LinkedIn suggests is run ads to free value, just like we do this on Facebook, but you run ads to, and they actually create the funnel. So what's cool about LinkedIn, and so if you guys, you'll hear marketing people talk about, you need a funnel, a sales funnel. And to do that, you need this software like Kajabi, I just mentioned, or lead pages, or ClickFunnels. But LinkedIn, they provide the funnel for you, which is pretty cool. So that's one little cost you don't have to pay, but they suggest free ad to their landing page they provide with a freebie, and then book a call. And then on the call, you're going to try to sell people that $5,000 or more service. And it works for businesses. So did that answer your question about the difference?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
And I think because LinkedIn is business to business, most people have higher end offers for B2B than they do to B2C. So it just kind of makes sense, and it works out in the end. Going back to Instagram, you mentioned Stories, Reels, and Explorer. What are those? So
stories are they last 24 hours. They are, have you checked out Instagram? You've seen it?
I see them only because they show up on my Facebook.
Okay. Stories. Yeah. So so what's nice about stories I love Instagram. I love organic, just using Instagram. And, I did that for a little while, helped people with the organic Instagram, but they can be not as polished. Authenticity works really well in stories, which when you're creating content for your business, if you can get over yourself, or like honestly,
Have a
that's
little
what
fun
most
with
people
it.
have in trouble, like just like putting themselves out there and getting embarrassed, which I know that's a real thing. I'm not discounting. That's not easy to do, honestly. But if you can, then creating content for stories is super easy. I mean, because you just have to, you can turn the camera on yourself and just talk to the phone and put it up there, and it works because you are, that is, stories are a great tool for building engagement, and because you can talk to people, they DM you, and so we might make an ad that goes better in stories, and because it's really conversational, we try to make it feel less like an ad. And then reels are the fun videos that, that look like TikTok videos. The fact that we can advertise in them is very new. I've just had a few people, I'm in a group of ads managers, about 300 of us. We share ideas and talk to each other. And the reels, we think that they're great for awareness, but if you want someone to like leave Instagram and go get a freebie or even go sign up for a class, we haven't seen good luck for that yet. Maybe we haven't figured out the best way to use reels for that, because people, they just flash by you, and you get information and they move really fast. And then Explore is strange that you can make ads to it, but it's a combination of all of it. It's a page where Instagram recommends things for you. So you might see really popular posts from people. You might see some people on your feed there, and you can pay to have an ad show up there. The thing, I guess, is not everybody looks at Explore all the time, but
that's the reason you want to have your ad everywhere, because you don't know where your audience is going to click.
Exactly. Yeah.
You put it in front of them and then they go and click it.
Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Okay. And one of the questions I was going to ask is, clearly their Meta's or Facebook's algorithms have changed, because once upon a time it used to be very centric, very targeted. You knew if it was on the wall, it was going to get this kind of a response, and if it was on the news feed, it was going to get that kind of a response. And it doesn't seem to be like that anymore. They seem to be kind of put it everywhere and we'll see how it responds, and then we'll go from there. Does that mean that longer ads are working better than, say, a 3-day ad or something concise where you're going, hey, it just happens now?
Yes, it's a short answer.
Okay.
And they're even for that reason that you just described, and because Apple threw Facebook a whammy this year. Which they updated their privacy rules, I guess is the right word, privacy rules. For its users. And so now we users of Apple products can opt out of being tracked from any app that we download from on the App Store, for Apple's App Store. And that happened in April. But that is really one of the magic of Facebook and Instagram ads, not just Facebook, but Pinterest, LinkedIn, is when you create an ad account on these social networks, you get a free pixel that is, tied to your ad account, and you place it. And Facebook has made it easy where you really don't, from a lot of the website platforms, Squarespace, even WordPress, which is complicated to set up a website on, in my opinion, but Facebook's made it easy where you can put this pixel right on your WordPress website, Squarespace website, and then track people that visit your website. And then they use that. You can retarget them with an ad. Facebook would do this really cool thing where they will create a lookalike audience of 2 million people that are very similar to the people that went and visited your website. And, e-commerce businesses, huge businesses really rely on this tracking, and Apple cut it away. And like Facebook spent $1 billion on fighting Apple on it, and they lost. And it sort of felt like, as an ads manager, that, which is surprising, but it really felt like they weren't prepared. And so, because Facebook Business Manager and Ads Manager are super impressive, cool tool, but they would, the best practices that happened in April. They keep changing them. And so for that reason, because it's taking them a little while longer to figure out how the logarithms, sorry, I don't know if the logarithm is the right word, but how the ad's working for you. Like you pay them, you say, this is who I want to, these are the kind of people I want, like try all the platforms. It takes them longer than it did even last year to sort that out. So just like what you said, so for that reason, and it's a mistake business owners make. You just need to decide to commit. I mean, I think a minimum of 2 weeks before you decide something's not working. And I mean, we might tweak something after 5 days, but not 3 days. And that's hard
for those
to
of us
swallow.
who paid for advertising in the 90s, it was like, okay, and it's going to take about 18 months to figure this out. So, 2 weeks, I think you should be able to handle it, peeps.
This week, I'm working with this awesome nutrition coach, and I see that about her. Like January is a big month for ads. I've been working with her about 3 months, and her knee-jerk reaction is, if it's after 24 hours, and I had to, and I get it, it's hard. I think that's why if that's you, if you're just starting out, this is what I would do. I would just say, don't tell yourself the daily rate. Say, I'm going to invest, $100 a day. That's a nice investment. But
that's a nice
for a week. Yeah.
Especially if you're trying something else.
Whatever it's going to be, commit to the whole time, and then say, and tell yourself, you're going to learn from the experience. And a lot of times the ads work fabulous, but sometimes we have to tweak things and, but it gets you that much closer. So.
Right. And I don't think people realize that the style of your font makes a difference. The color of your font can make a difference. The picture makes a difference. The color of the clothes that they're wearing makes a difference. Like you don't know until you try it, and it takes a little bit of time to do that. So if you're working with somebody like Meredith, you want to have a little bit of a budget that you go, okay, this is X amount of dollars that's going towards it. And then what your long game plan is. That is awesome. So who would you say is your ideal client? Who do you love to serve and support?
Well, here's my ADD part again. But I love, I've really enjoyed working with small business owners. We talking about my pivot, and I didn't answer your question, but I right before I opened this marketing agency, I owned a magazine that is a franchise. And if for your listeners in the United States, you might have seen it. It's in 60 cities. It's called the Scout Guide. And their motto is like, everyone should be able to live a well-curated life wherever they are. And they live, love local was a hashtag. So franchise owners would I opened the Miami franchise, and it was this beautiful coffee table book that's about 8.5 by 11. Your readers can't see. I just happen to have one sitting here.
Nice.
And it's like thick paper, and it was an expensive advertising piece, but I learned a lot. I would solicit. I had about 40 local clients, and we would take their photo and tell the story of their business with a photo, and then print the book, and then do social media for a year, like influencer type marketing for a year. Nice. So that, to answer your question, so I started with, when I decided to move on from the franchise, I had a bunch of local, I feel like I knew every Miami business owner, local business owner, because it's an expensive piece of advertising. So I talked to a lot of people before I found the ones that was a good fit for. But so I went back. It was really fun when I started the ads, because I was able to go back and say, listen, they would be great for you. So I helped, I had fun with like a meal chef that does a meal delivery service where you can pick what she offers, a menu of about 15 different things once a week. And so people would go on and order what they wanted, and she'd deliver, and just different local, and the ads were really helpful for her because we could grow her audience. And so I guess I love people that sell something online. It's a little bit easier because they could buy online easier, and because it's measurable. After coming off that brand awareness building magazine, I love the fact that I can show people numbers. So ads do work well if you have a brick and mortar. It's just kind of a different thing. when we can track it. And then I also work with online coaches and course creators that have a bigger reach. And yeah, that's been really fun. So ideally, because it's not as painful, I used to say that I realized that um, somebody that has a proven offer that's already sold that coaching package 10 or 15 times organically, or they've created a course and they have run people through it before. I used to say that was a requirement for ads. I do prefer working with people like that because I realize though that if you are a course creator and you're going out for a launch for the first time, I mean, they've worked so hard on this course, and then they want to get eyeballs on it, a bunch of eyeballs. And it is a good way to test your course offer quickly, because if we're going to spend $2,000 on ads, which getting people to say, I created an online course. So I've lived through this, so I can relate to course creators, but I made this beautiful course. It was called Instagram Strategy for Busy Doctors, and it was for medical practices to run their own Instagram. And I mean, every video was perfect. Every, PDF was wonderful. And I hired an ads manager and said, I'd like to have 500 people at these webinars where I'm going to tell the doctors or their office managers about my great course. And she got 500 people there. It cost at the time, I don't know, like maybe $3,000. Because again, getting people to sit and commit to a class is not the cheapest thing to do. But anyway, and nobody bought. I mean, maybe 2 people bought. Yeah. And that doesn't mean the course is bad. I mean, and then the pandemic hit, and I kind of took this topsy turn where, because I'd been advertising myself as marketing help for doctors, I got to do some kind of cool things like help this guy sell his antibody tests. He is making them here in Miami. And then I helped another company get their COVID clinic up and running. But anyway, so I didn't go back. And that's what I tell these course creators. I mean, you gotta you run it a couple of times to get the bugs out. I didn't have my offer figured out. I think doctors could run their Instagram, but something was happening. Either they don't want to, or I wasn't selling it correctly. But that's a lot of money to spend to figure that out, but the thing is, it's like, if I had gone door to door and tried to sell it to 500 doctors, it would have taken me 6 months, but this way I found it out super fast. And that's appealing to some people, especially us
absolutely.
80s,
it's time or money. It's one or the other.
The thing is that it's hard. I don't know if I have the stomach for it. Like, that's the thing. I have got to work with like 4 newbie course creators this fall. And then I also worked with 2 seasoned course creators, and it was just really hard to watch the new ones sometimes. One of them had luck, and but it was, so that's why
I personally am a huge fan of use your internal audience first to try things out on, because if people are already following you and liking you, then they're more apt to, that's your warm market, unless you're doing a huge pivot and you're changing your market anyway. So if until now you've been offering a $200 course, and then all of a sudden you want to offer a $4,000 course, it could potentially be a completely different audience. So you're starting from scratch, and then it comes back down to time or money. Do you want to spend the time garnering that audience and figuring out how to do that and get some people through? Or do you just want to put it up on Facebook and see how it responds? And that'll just cost you money. That's all.
Exactly. And the one other thing to note about, if you have run the offer to your organic audience and you see who's responding, I mean, what it makes the sales arc, and it makes it a little easier because they do know you, so you don't have to get past that. But also, you'll see who bought it, because maybe not everybody in your audience will buy, and then we can take even the profile of person. So I would send as a ads manager, even if you're doing it yourself. Okay, so I noticed that this is mainly women, and they are between 40 and 50, which is interesting because I thought my 30 to 40, stuff like that. Like, you notice what their characteristics are. They all work in corporations, because that identifying your buyer can help us with copy for the ads, can help us with the targeting, which is what's really cool about it. We can go find people similar to the people that your course served, like who found value from it, and just explode. Then we can really explode your reach, and it's not as much testing.
Yep, absolutely. That is
Mhm.
awesome. So what are some of or actually give us an example of a Cinderella story of somebody that you've worked with.
So, well, a Cinderella story. I wasn't part of this whole story, but meaning I came in her mid launch. But there is a lady in Idaho in a small town, Christina Tovalin, and she not that small of a town, but she is a math teacher, and she calls herself the recovering traditionalist because we didn't talk about, have you had kids in school in the last 15 years?
No.
Kids, no. Okay, so there's just the Common Core. Have you heard people my age complain about this? Okay, well, it was just a different way to learn math. And and that's my backside, that when I didn't get to tell my pivot, that's what my background when I was a CPA, and I love numbers. So but I realized Facebook ads was perfect for me when I saw it was a combination of really reading numbers and forecasting, and then the social media side. So that's how when I hired that ads manager and I saw what she was doing, I was like, that is what I would enjoy. And I think I'd be good at it. And it's proving, so far it's proving to be true, because so that's how I got here. So it was fun when Christina came to me, and maybe it's a little part my Cinderella story. Like, she found me in this group of course creators that I'm a part of. I had been answering questions about Facebook ads, and she said, I saw you recommended let's have a meeting. And she could have been a new course creator, but she came on, and she's very seasoned, 6 years going. That's in the digital marketing. That's pretty long. So she teaches other math teachers how to math. And the recovering traditionalist was, like, she's a little younger than me, just a little bit, but she wasn't so sure about this Common Core stuff, and kind of opened her eyes that there's some benefits to it, and she understands. So, but she never uses the word Common Core. When I was listening to her, I had to say, oh, you're like Common Core. But so she helps teach other math teachers how to implement math, teach math to their kids. And she has come up with a couple of things. She has a virtual summit where she brings in math teachers from all over the country, and all in Canada too. And she'll run for free 20,000 teachers through it. We run ads to that, and then she sells them a membership at the end of that. And so if they join, and it's like she doesn't mind sharing numbers. She's an entrepreneur. But the last one, she sells the membership for maybe $45 a month, and the last virtual summit, she made $67,000 or something, which is at $45 a pop, is great. Right? And she has a course that she launches twice a year. And that's where I came in the spring. And I didn't realize, that's sort of my Cinderella story. I didn't understand how big the ad spend was, but we spent $25,000 of ads, and it was, she made a lot of money. She enrolled 4,500 people in the course, and she just started. Her story is just she really believed in this math concept, and she wanted to help other teachers learn to teach it too, because she thinks it's great for the students. And so she just, followed her passion of sharing this value, and just watched her business grow. And she's smart. She watched what worked. I have worked with a couple other teachers, and I noticed Christina does a couple of things different. Like, a lot of people that make courses, they'll launch their course over a 10-day window. Let's say it's kind of a standard practice because they want to create scarcity, and there's just a model. Amy Porterfield teaches that 10 days.
Mhm.
But Christina's is open for a month because she knows that a lot of these teachers go to the school and get them to pay for the course. And so she's just made it, as she's built her business, she's watched what her clients need, and she's adapted. So they get a personal. It's not. I need a PD hour, something development
Personal
hour.
development hour, yeah.
Right.
Or
But
professional
yeah,
development hour.
Professional development. I was like, first of all, get it right. Yeah, they get that just for coming to her master class where she teaches them something, but that gets them there. And then at the end, she sells, like genius that she took the time to make sure that was professional development,
Yep.
So it's cool. And yeah, and then a smaller story is the chef in Miami, as far as Cinderella, like she is, I met her at the gym. Actually, she was not in my magazine, and she's this phenomenal athlete. I would watch her run really fast and just was in awe. And then she trained at a real fancy culinary school, very good chef, but just super creative and not like, and doesn't want to do I think she might have ADHD, like doesn't care about the business stuff. And that's annoying. And it's too, that's not something she has interest in. Sometimes when you have ADHD, that's hard because, we like hyper focusing on things. And so like, she never stopped but even with that, she'd create us this really cool business where she would go tell people you could order meals from me. And she had a website for it. And then she'd fulfill the meals. But adding the ad piece to that, we figured, I got in her website and I could figure out that her average customer lifetime value was about $560, and the people stayed with her about 7 weeks on average. So the first order was they'd order about $80 worth of meals for 7 weeks. And we've got in a rhythm where she was getting an 8-to-1 return, not actually on that life, but you figure out your average customer value. So you kind of can understand how much you're willing to spend to acquire a customer, right? So, maybe you're willing to spend $200 to get a customer because they're going to spend $560 with you. But and then she had great customer service. So once she got someone in, it helped her referral business, right? But we were able to figure out she was getting an 8-to-1 return on her Facebook ads. So for every dollar we put in, she got 8 back just on that initial order of $80. So that was cool.
Nice. That's awesome. So
Yeah.
what might somebody be struggling with at home when they're thinking, oh my God, Meredith, I need you so badly?
Yeah. Well, honestly, Facebook ads business manager and ads manager is a beast. And that's like when I said, oh, I want to learn I want to do what she's doing. I went and got certified by digital marketer. And then I took another class. I did all of that. And I thought, I just think I need to know some more. And I'm constantly staying up on it. And it's a lot to take on as a business owner to learn all of that. Different than, organic social media, running your own Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. I don't think it's a bad thing to pay someone to help you do that either, but it's not as complicated or hard to use for those. You just have to commit to consistency and you can really make something happen. For ads, you really can. It's kind of like you could just take a handful of money and just flush it down the toilet quickly if you don't know what you're doing. And it's learnable, you guys. I'm not saying you can't. Like there's lots of people. I love Rick Mulready. He's got a great podcast. It's learnable. But yeah, so if you're ready to, ideally, since I love to work with people with a proven offer, if you've sold and you've, sold on Instagram, sold to your email list, or you just have, you're starting to get busy because you're a coach and you have a bunch of clients, then I would love to come help you to make sure that you keep having clients, that sometimes like you get the clients and then you start working with them and then you got to get some more. So if you are ready to maintain the level where you are, we can start bringing in a steady stream of traffic, or you have a launch or a membership coming up, I'd love to help you. Mhm.
Nice. So how would somebody start their journey with you?
Well, I've on my website, which is my name, meredithkallaher.com. I'd love book a call, and it's a discovery call. But I allow 30 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes, where I really try to want to hear all about your business, and I could tell you how the ads might help you. And then if you like what I have to say, then we could decide to work together.
Nice. Love that. Awesome. So I have to ask you, at what point in life did you know that you were a special kind of crazy enough to become an entrepreneur?
You know, I think I'm crazy enough to where it was never like never I just this sounds I just followed the fun, like I followed what was fun to serve value to help people. I think what happened was I graduated college and with an accounting degree, and then got the CPA, and I went to work for a big corporation, Price Waterhouse, like one of the one of the big 6 then 4 now. And I was just got myself in crazy situation. The summer before I graduated, I had interned with a senator. At the time, he was the majority whip of the U.S. Senate, Trent Lott, because I was a good student, but his nephew was a friend of mine too, so that was helpful to get that.
Mhm.
But it was there. We had to. This was 1995. Oh, I was there the same summer Monica Lewinsky was. Yes, and I looked like her. Y'all can't see me, but when the scandal came out, anyway,
You're like, it's not me. It's not me.
Yeah. But anyway, we had to. I'm sure she did too. We had to wear suits and pantyhose in the Washington D.C. in the middle of summer, and be there for the horror of them asking me to dress for 8 hours, like from 9 to 5. And I'm actually a morning person, but just like sitting down and doing something that is boring or feels, I wasn't a big corporation kind of girl. And then I went and worked for Price Waterhouse for 6 years. So that was more, I didn't realize necessarily I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I just knew I didn't want to do that anymore. So I could get out of there. Yeah. So that's what happened.
I love that story. That's awesome. Well, and the reason I asked was because there are so many different entrepreneurial journeys, and it's just nice to know that no matter what somebody's going through, somebody else has probably thought about it the same way, and you're doing fine. You're on track. I can assure you.
Yes. Yeah. It's okay. Like, I know it. I mean, yeah, that it's okay if you weren't like, I do feel like it was more like, I can't do this anymore. Let me get out of this. And then I decided, okay, this is what I'm going to do next, which is great. That's good. That's all right. Yeah,
exactly. If you're like me, you just got fired too many times. It's like, okay, clearly I am unemployable. So
right.
I'll go and do something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
awesome. Take care of
awesome.
this. Yeah.
You've been awesome, Meredith. Thank you so much for your time. I know how valuable it is, and I appreciate it. Any last words for our peeps?
Well, you guys, don't be afraid of marketing. I mean, that is one thing as like a small business owner. You're creating this fabulous product, and you got to tell people you can't just build it and expect them to come. So you need to go tell people about your fabulous business. And so pick a channel and pick a way to do that, whether it's emailing them consistently or Instagram or social media, or let's give ads a try, and just marketing is a good thing. Don't be afraid of it.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. This is Michelle Nedlick. Thank you for being with us here today. Be sure to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast app so that we can help you scale your business. We love having you here. Thank you again, Meredith.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to our show. I'm all about being a resource center for entrepreneurs to give them the information and the support that they need to make it in business. As such, the notes for this show can be found at our website at awarenessstrategies.com/blog. Be sure to subscribe, give us a rating. I like 5 stars personally, and share with your friends.